Jean Dixon predicted only these zodiac signs will become rich in 2026. There are prophecies that sound like warnings, and there are those that break the boundaries of time and touch the very essence of human destiny. Jean Dixon is one of the most famous clairvoyants of the 20th century, a woman whose visions shocked even those who did not believe in the supernatural. She predicted the death of Kennedy, the rise and fall of world leaders, as well as the global changes that humanity is still experiencing. Her words were always more than just prophecies. They were a guide for those who were able to hear more deeply. And now, her shadow touches our time again. According to her vision, in 2026, only a few signs of the zodiac will be able to achieve not just success, but true wealth, both material and spiritual. She saw a path opening up around these people, like a golden stream, in which money comes easily but requires inner strength to hold on to it. This is not just luck. It is the result of fate that has been maturing for years. Who are these chosen ones on whom a wave of prosperity will descend in 2026? Who will be able to seize the opportunity and who will lose everything because of pride or fear? Now you will find out who the universe is preparing for an unprecedented rise and whose name will become a symbol of financial luck in the new year. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss this analysis, because maybe your sign is on the list of those Jean Dixon talked about. Her vision is not just a story of the past, it is the key to your future opportunities. Aries. Jean Dixon once said that there are signs in the world to which fate itself gives not just chances, but the right to possess greatness. Among them, Aries occupies a special place, a sign that never stops, even when the whole world is silent against it. Her vision showed a fire that does not go out even in the rain, a symbol of Aries' inner strength, which in 2026 will turn into material wealth. Dixon saw people of this sign standing at a crossroads. Behind them are years of struggle, ahead of them, an open door to another life. Those who did not give up will receive a reward that will exceed all expectations. The year 2026 will not just be a period of financial growth for Aries. It will be a year of true rebirth. She predicted that the energy of this sign would connect with events that would change everything, with people who would appear at the right moment, with ideas that would spark like a spark in the dark, with opportunities that would seem random at first, but turn out to be karmic. Jean Dixon said that Aries would feel this with their sixth sense, as if an inner voice would say, "Now or never." And those who trust this intuition will get more than just money. They will create empires built on their own belief in themselves. Aries have always gone against the grain. Their desire to be first has often led to losses, but 2026 will turn their past failures into capital. What once hurt will become a driving force. Dixon saw an image of Aries raising its head after long years of doubt and taking the first step, a step into a space filled with opportunities. This year, everything they start will have a special momentum, not because of luck, but because of a coincidence of energies that will finally align on their side. For Aries, money has never been just paper or numbers in an account. For them, it is proof of strength, freedom, and victory over themselves. Therefore, 2026 will be a symbol of well-deserved retribution. Dixon saw people of this sign among big investors, among those who take risks, invest, and start from scratch. She said that some of them do not even realize how close they are to a huge breakthrough. One right step, one phone call, one signed contract, and life will change instantly. Aries is the architect of their own destiny. In 2026, they will not just earn money, they will create. Jean Dixon described a vision in which Aries build new buildings, create businesses, and start ventures that bring not only profit, but also influence. They cease to play the role of executors and become the ones who set the rules. According to her, a particularly powerful period will fall in the middle of the year, a moment when invisible doors will open for those who are not afraid to make a choice. She also said that the main trap for Aries will be impatience. Their thirst for results may push them to take ill-advised steps, but it is those who learn to wait who will become the true masters of financial flows. Jean warned, "Do not rush to pick the fruit while the tree is still growing." All investments, ideas, and even small decisions in 2026 will have a cumulative effect. What seems small now will eventually turn into large assets. Dixon recalled a vision in which golden rays shone around Aries, a symbol of prosperity that comes not by chance, but through justice. She explained that the universe is preparing a chance for these people to regain what they once lost, multiplying it 100-fold. If they once gave more than they received, now the balance will be restored. In 2026, money will not fall from the sky for them. It will come through specific actions. But with such acceleration that Aries themselves will be amazed at how quickly everything is coming together. Jean said that this sign has the most powerful engine in the entire zodiac: determination. She saw Aries seemingly standing on the edge, but it is this edge that becomes the starting point. They will go where others are afraid to go, and that is where they will find gold. Some will start a business, some will embark on a large-scale project, and some will find a partner who will open the doors to the big world for them. 2026 will show that there are no limits for Aries when they feel the moment. She also warned that there would be a lot of envy surrounding this sign. Strangers will try to stop them with words, skepticism, even manipulation. But Jean Dixon said, "Let them talk. You must go, because something greater than fear is guiding you." And it is precisely those who do not pay attention to outside noise who will see how events begin to unfold, as if someone invisible is removing obstacles from the road. Her prophecies featured the numbers 1 and 9. This signified the beginning and victory. She said that in 2026, Aries would begin a 9-year cycle, a period of growth, prosperity, and material establishment. The main thing is not to be afraid of scale. Jean emphasized, "Your wealth will come from the decisions you fear." Therefore, it is important for every Aries not to hide in their comfort zone, but to take a step into the unknown. There is also a spiritual aspect to this prediction. Dixon believed that money would come to Aries not only as a reward for their work, but as proof of their inner maturity. They learned to let go of the past, forgive, and relinquish control, which was exhausting. And just when they begin to trust themselves, a stream of opportunities comes into their lives that seem like a miracle but are actually the natural result of years of energy invested. She saw that many representatives of this sign would have a mentor or coach, a person who would appear suddenly and push them to take a decisive step. And it is this connection that will mark the beginning of a new stage that will lead to financial independence. Jean described that Aries should be attentive to such encounters. Sometimes the key to $1 million can look like an ordinary conversation with a stranger. She also warned that in 2026 there will be days when it seems that everything has come to a standstill. But it is on these days that the foundation is being laid. Jean called this the calm before the storm. Those who persevere will see the financial wave lift them higher than they could have imagined. This period is not a random gift, but the result of everything they have ever done right. And the universe, according to the clairvoyant, does not forget a single effort. For Aries, 2026 will also be a year of liberation from debt, not only financial, but also energetic. Everything that held them back will dissolve. Jean Dixon said that it is like the moment when the ice cracks after a long winter. The water is finally moving, and no one can stop it. In the same way, the energy of money will flow to Aries. Some will receive large dividends, some an unexpected inheritance, and some a partnership that will bring a breakthrough. All these events will have one thing in common: suddenness. But behind it lies a pattern. She saw how people of this sign become more confident. Their eyes radiate strength, and their voices gain weight. And even those who recently doubted themselves will begin to act as leaders. Jean Dixon said that it is not just money, it is a new role in the world, in which Aries becomes a model of success, a symbol of indestructibility. Her vision ended with an image of Aries standing at the top, looking down and seeing the path they had come. Every defeat, every fear, every risk becomes part of this triumph. She believed that 2026 would be what ancient books called the year of justice restored, and Aries would be the first to feel it. Jean Dixon said, "They are born to win, and even when the world forgets them, fate remembers." That is why in 2026, all roads that seemed closed will open, and those who once looked down on them will see them rise above everyone else. Taurus. Jean Dixon repeatedly said that among all the signs of the zodiac, there are those who are capable of transforming matter into power and power into stability. She was talking about Taurus. Her vision was clear and unchanging. In 2026, they would wake up to a world that would work for them. She saw the earth cracking after a long drought and a green shoot emerging from beneath it, a symbol of Taurus, which after years of internal struggle would finally grow into something big, reliable, and profitable. Her words were not words of inspiration, but a warning. If Taurus does not seize the opportunity of 2026, it will give up its place to those who do not have such strength. She described people of this sign as those who suffered in silence, worked hard, and invested time, energy, and nerves in things that seemed fruitless. But it is this invisible preparation that is the key to their enrichment. Jean said that 2026 would open doors that had previously seemed tightly closed. She saw visual symbols, locks breaking, old contracts being torn up, and new ones signed with a golden pen. This was her sign that the material reality of Taurus would change irrevocably. According to her visions, the spring of 2026 will be a decisive stage. She said, "Taurus will rise when everyone else is still asleep." It is at this time that the energy of patience possessed by this sign will turn into action. For some, it will be a breakthrough in business. For others, a change of profession, and for others, a bold investment that will seem risky but will turn out to be fateful. Jean emphasized that in 2026, Taurus will not receive gifts by chance. Every profit will be the result of many years of internal maturation. She believed that Taurus can hear silence, and it is in this silence that they will feel the call to act. She saw this sign standing at a crossroads. On one side, a familiar, calm but empty life. On the other, a path full of risk, but with the promise of tremendous growth. And it is those who choose the second path who will receive the reward they have dreamed of for years. Jean Dixon said that for Taurus, 2026 is not just a new stage, it is the moment when they become the owners of everything that once seemed unattainable. Her vision was accurate in every detail. She said that in 2026, many Taurus will have the opportunity to work with resources they have never had before. Large sums of money, land, real estate, deals, investments. She saw their hands holding keys, not just to houses, but to a new life. Jean said, "You will be surprised at how much you are allowed to do if you stop doubting your strength." Her words seem to be directed at the heart of every Taurus, because doubt is the only thing that can stop them on their path to wealth. She warned that in 2026, the temptation to run away from responsibility will be strong. Some will want to leave everything behind to avoid risk, but it is those who stay who will win. Jean Dixon saw the world turning, and those who stood their ground ended up on top. Her words contained a truth that only mature souls understand. Success is not luck. It is discipline based on faith. She saw Taurus no longer looking for easy ways out. They just move forward, and the ground beneath their feet begins to yield gold. In Jean's prediction, it was said that 2026 would divide Taurus into two categories, those who wait and those who act, and only the second group will become rich. She insisted, "Don't listen to advice that scares you. Act as if you already have everything you want." This attitude transforms Taurus's energy from passive to magnetic. It attracts financial flows, opportunities, and helpful people. She said that the key moment will be when Taurus learns to let go of control. Her vision showed that some events in 2026 would look like chaos. But it is in this chaos that a new harmony will emerge. Jean Dixon described a picture where Taurus stands in the middle of a storm, but instead of fear, there is calm, because he understands that the storm does not destroy his world, but purifies it. After that, there will be a rise that will surpass even the wildest dreams. Dixon emphasized that in 2026, Taurus will become the new owners of the era of stability. She saw confidence and a sense of dignity in their eyes. Her words sounded like a blessing. Your steadfastness will be rewarded with gold. Indeed, this year, even those with minimal resources will find a way to multiply them several times over. For some, it will be a breakthrough in their career. For others, a successful purchase, and for others, a new source of passive income. She emphasized that money will come not as a surprise, but as confirmation of maturity. Jean said, "Wealth does not tolerate fuss. It comes to those who are ready to accept it." And Taurus people are just like that. They have walked the path of patience, so now they are entitled to a stable flow. Her vision ended with an image of scales, with fear on one side and determination on the other. And when Taurus chooses the latter, the scales tip toward abundance. She believed that in 2026, Taurus would become an example for other signs. Her prediction described how many would look at these people with amazement. How did they do it? But the answer is simple. They just remained themselves when others panicked. Jean said that stability would be their magnet. At a time when everything around them is unstable, Taurus keeps their feet on the ground, and that ground turns to gold. She also warned of the possibility of large acquisitions. According to her, in 2026, Taurus will feel a craving for the concrete, land, construction, material things. She saw them signing documents, buying property, and creating assets that will last a long time. This is not a short-term profit, but the beginning of a new cycle in which they become owners rather than hired hands. And that is the real victory. Jean Dixon also reminded Taurus to beware of false alliances. In 2026, people may appear who want to take advantage of their success. She advised them to keep their circles small and trusted. Not everyone who smiles has good intentions, she said. But at the same time, she emphasized that Taurus will find true allies this year. One right partner can double your capital, while one wrong partner can ruin everything. She had another interesting prediction. In 2026, Taurus people involved in art, nature, or crafts will receive unexpected recognition. She saw them among people who managed to turn their hobby into profit. She said that everything made with hands and heart would receive its due value this year. For some, it would be a small business that would grow into a brand. For others, it would be an idea that would become a source of stable income. Dixon noted that 2026 will be the moment when Taurus begins to think like the owner of the system, not as part of it. Her vision described a transition from a person who works for money to a person who makes money work for them. This will be their revolution. Quiet, confident, but irreversible. She often said that Taurus's strength lies in its ability to stand still rather than run, and that is why when others panic, this sign will remain steadfast, and while others lose, Taurus will gain. Her words sounded like law. The earth belongs to those who are not afraid to wait for it to yield its harvest. And 2026 is harvest time. Dixon saw that at the end of the year, many Taurus people would be surprised at how much their lives had changed. She spoke of a feeling of gratitude when people of this sign first realize that everything they have worked for has begun to bear fruit. Money will cease to be an unattainable goal. It will become a natural consequence of maturity, stability, and belief in one's own cause. Gemini. Jean Dixon said that there are signs that can change your life, not through struggle, but through understanding. And among all 12, it is Gemini who have this gift. Her vision of 2026 was full of movement, decisions, calls, and conversations that opened the door to a whole new financial reality. She said that the world would finally hear the voice of Gemini, those who had long hidden their ideas, their talents, their abilities. And when others are just beginning to think, Gemini will already be acting. 2026 will be a breakthrough year for them, when words will turn into capital, intellect into profit, and speed of thought into influence. She saw events revolving around this sign like a spiral. Gemini are always on the move, and Jean Dixon believed that this movement was the key to their enrichment. In 2026, it will take on special significance. Everything they say, write, create, or even offer to others will begin to generate income. This is a time when their communication will become a cash flow. She predicted that for many representatives of this sign, opportunities will open up in areas where words are needed. Media, consulting, advertising, negotiations, internet platforms, and business presentations. She saw them not just as market participants, but as those who shape opinions and change reality. Dixon emphasized, their minds are their bank accounts. She saw how Gemini, who had underestimated their potential for many years, suddenly realized that others were willing to pay dearly for what they did easily. She said that 2026 would be the moment when talent for communication, logic, analytics, or learning would translate into concrete financial results. And this would not be a coincidence, but a point they had been moving towards slowly and unnoticed. Her vision included a lot of light, movement, documents, and meetings. She said that the lives of Gemini in 2026 will be intense, but it is in this intensity that order will be born. Every day will be important. Every decision will be fateful. Jean explained, their strength lies in speed, but this year, speed will become a tool for precision. What was once chaos will become a profitable system. She saw Gemini as people who hold several threads in their hands at once, each leading to a new opportunity. They will be able to combine different sources of income, different directions, different circles of acquaintances, and this will become their advantage. Jean Dixon said that in 2026, Gemini will build not one but several roads to wealth, some through communication, some through trade, some through new technologies. But in each case, everything will revolve around the ability to talk, negotiate, and create connections. She also warned that the main enemy of this sign would be dispersion. They can have 100 ideas and not complete a single one, Jean said. But in 2026, this weakness will turn into a strength. Her vision showed that it is the versatility of Gemini that will allow them to see what others do not see. They will connect different worlds and profit from it. She said, their profits will come from combinations that others think are impossible. Dixon saw a bright period of intellectual growth for this sign in 2026. She described how Gemini, who previously doubted their competence, would begin to receive recognition. People would listen to them, consult with them, and trust their decisions. And that is precisely why financial independence would come. Jean said, "They will not sell their souls, they will sell their minds, and that will be fair." She often repeated that Gemini live ahead of their time. Their insights come earlier than others, and in 2026, this will become their currency. She saw this sign among those who will be the first to feel economic changes, see trends, and understand where the market is moving. For some, this will mean successful investments. For others, a new business direction, and for others, an opportunity to enter a market that is just forming. Dixon warned, Gemini must learn to trust their intuitive knowledge. Her vision showed how people of this sign stop themselves from making discoveries because they doubt themselves. But in 2026, doubt will be a luxury they cannot afford. She said, if Gemini hear the call to act, they must act immediately. Because this year will not tolerate procrastination. Her prophecies featured symbols, books, a pen that turns into gold, and coins that do not fall from above, but seem to be born from the hands. This meant that Gemini's wealth would not come by chance, but would be created by their intellect. Jean said that their minds were factories of opportunity, and that 2026 would open up a conveyor belt of ideas that would bring in income. She also emphasized that success would come through communication. Therefore, every meeting, every letter, every interview, even a short dialogue in 2026 could be decisive. Jean Dixon said, "They don't know who they will meet, but every conversation is a potential contract." That is why she advised Gemini to be open, to talk, to exchange ideas, because among hundreds of contacts, there will be one that will change everything. Dixon predicted that in 2026, representatives of this sign will learn not just to earn money, but to monetize the flow of information. She saw them as people who turn knowledge into a commodity, experience into a brand, and skills into influence. She said, they will not create a product, but a wave that will move others. And this wave will return to them in the form of income, recognition, and opportunities. She also saw that some Gemini would reach the international level in 2026. Her vision showed maps, languages, travel, and performances. Jean said that their strength lies in their ability to adapt, and it is this flexibility that will lead them to success. She said, they will realize that the world is their office, and that moment will change everything. She also emphasized that the money that will come in 2026 will not only be the result of work, but also the result of connections. Jean Dixon believed that a circle of people who would strengthen each other would form around Gemini. She called it the mirror effect. What they give back comes back twice as much. Therefore, their generosity, willingness to share knowledge, help, and create communities will be a catalyst for big money. She warned that at the end of the summer of 2026, Gemini would face a choice: to stay in the old security or jump into the new. And only those who dare will see their lives take on a different scale. Her vision showed a scene where people of this sign stand in front of a crowd, talking, leading, teaching. She said, this is the moment when everyone hears them. Dixon described how a period of activity would be followed by a time of calm, but this calm would not be a standstill. She said, when it seems like nothing is happening, that's when capital grows. In 2026, Gemini will learn to understand that money comes not only through action, but also through the energy of confidence. There were many symbols of air and light in her vision. She explained that Gemini's profits would not be limited to material things. These are profits from ideas, information, and creativity. Jean said, they don't count coins, they multiply opportunities. And that is why their wealth will be permanent, because it is based on an inexhaustible resource: understanding. She emphasized that the main lesson for Gemini in 2026 is the ability to stay focused. Her vision showed that the moment they stop doubting, the flow will become continuous. And from that moment on, life will cease to be a struggle for survival. It will become a game in which they set the rules. She saw how in December 2026, many Gemini would receive a symbolic sign, a gift, a letter, an offer that would be difficult to accept immediately, but which would open up a new level. She said, "This will be the moment when fate tells them, 'Now you are ready.'" And when asked which of all the signs had the best chance for financial growth in 2026, Jean Dixon always smiled and replied, "Those who own the word, and the word belongs to Gemini." Cancer. Jean Dixon said that there are signs that carry the ancient power of memory, and this power brings them either a burden or a blessing. In 2026, Cancers will receive the latter. Her vision was clear. Quiet waters that had been dormant for many years were finally beginning to move. She saw the water spreading out in circles, and in the center of this circle stood Cancer. First alone, then alongside people who became allies rather than a burden. It was an image of awakening, purification, and material prosperity. Dixon said that 2026 would be a time for Cancers to regain control over their own lives, control that they had long given away to others out of kindness, emotionality, or fear. She often repeated that Cancers live with their hearts, but their hearts are not a weakness, but a compass. And it is this compass that will lead them to what can be called true wealth in 2026. Dixon saw that the financial flows that had passed them by for years would begin to find their way to them. She described this process as the awakening of an old system that was finally working. Her words sounded like law. When Cancer begins to believe in its own decision, the whole world adjusts to it. And in 2026, that belief will return. Jean saw that many Cancers would enter the year feeling tired, but that very tiredness would be a sign of transition. Her vision showed that old stories, financial, emotional, professional, would end. She said, "When they finally stop dragging the past, the money will start coming in." It's not just about work or luck. It's about changing the energy of your own thinking. Cancer, which forgives, frees up space for the flow of abundance, and 2026 will make this process visible. Dixon emphasized, "This sign has been giving for a long time without receiving anything. Now is the time to receive without guilt." Her vision described Cancer sitting in the dark, and then lights begin to come on around them, one after another, until the space is filled with warmth. This symbolizes the moment when the world ceases to be cold to their efforts. She said that every action, every project, even the smallest idea in 2026 will have a multiplier effect. If Cancer does good, it comes back in the form of money. If it works with soul, its work grows in value. She saw that in 2026, Cancers would stop looking for support from outside. And that's when they would find true stability. Jean explained it simply. Wealth does not come to those who ask for it. It comes to those who act. And this sign will finally understand that it does not need approval. In her visions, Cancers began to work differently, not emotionally, but structurally, clearly, confidently. They begin to calculate, analyze, and separate the important from the superfluous. And this moment becomes a turning point, because their intuition, reinforced by rationality, becomes the perfect financial mechanism. She said that 2026 would begin with an internal revolution for Cancers. Some would lose what seemed to be their foundation, their jobs, old partners, safe scenarios. But Dixon explained that these were not losses, but a clearing of the field for a great harvest. She said, Everything that goes away takes old limitations with it. And when Cancers stop clinging to the past, they become capable of accepting the new. In her visions, this moment looked like the opening of floodgates. Water bursts through and finally fills life with resources. Her predictions for this sign always had a special tone. She said that Cancers don't need to fight. They need to allow themselves to be strong. And when they stop hiding behind caring for others, the world gives them back 100-fold. In 2026, many representatives of this sign will stop working for someone else and start working for themselves. She saw Cancers starting their own projects, businesses, even small ventures that would eventually become financial empires. Dixon emphasized that Cancer's main weapon is intuition. And in 2026, it will be more accurate than any analytical data. Her vision showed the moment when Cancers feel, "This is mine." And every time they listen to this voice, the result exceeds expectations. She said that this year is full of signs, the right words, chance encounters, even dreams that will point the way, but you have to act immediately, because 2026 will not tolerate delays. Jean saw that Cancers who work in the fields of helping others, psychology, art, real estate, medicine, or family business, will be particularly successful. Everything related to protection, support, home, and stability will be the golden key for them. She said that in 2026, the world will pay for sincerity, and it is Cancers who will be able to give what others lack: security, warmth, humanity. She emphasized that material changes for this sign will be gradual but irreversible. Jean said, once they start receiving, it won't stop. She saw their financial flows growing, slowly at first, then rapidly. Cancer, who once counted pennies, will begin to think in terms of investments in 2026. She predicted that this sign will learn to plan, to look several years ahead, and this will become the basis for stable enrichment. Dixon also warned of one danger: excessive generosity. She said, "Not everyone who asks deserves it." And although Cancers are not good at saying no, in 2026 they must learn to conserve their resources. Because the universe is finally giving them a flow, and it cannot be wasted on those who come only to take. Her visions included images of keys, chests, old doors opening, and light pouring onto water. These were symbols of a new cycle of prosperity. She said that Cancers who experienced loss, disappointment, or financial difficulties in 2025 will see the situation turn around 180 degrees in 2026. And not because someone will help them, but because the time for recovery has come. She said that in 2026, Cancers would begin to attract resources without even noticing it. People would offer cooperation, funding, and favorable terms on their own. Jean explained it simply. When a person's energy becomes pure, money follows. And in 2026, this purity would be the result of liberation from past pain. Her vision showed that it is important for Cancers not to shut themselves off. She said, "Wealth does not enter through closed doors." This year, Cancers need to go out into the world, speak up, show themselves, and not be afraid to declare their own value. Dixon emphasized that their modesty is noble, but now it can become an obstacle. They need to allow themselves to be noticed. Then financial energy will find them. She saw Cancers creating something of their own: a store, a workshop, a foundation, a school, a space for others. And it is these initiatives that bring them not only money, but also deep satisfaction. Jean said that when a Cancer works from the heart, the universe pays generously. Dixon emphasized that real change will come in the second half of 2026. She saw this period as a moment of great rise. Cancers will start receiving offers they never even expected. She said, If something seems too good to be true, take it. It's true. Because this year will reward trust. She also spoke about the importance of home. For Cancers, 2026 will be the year when they either buy a home, invest in land, or create a stable base. Jean said, their fortress will not only be a roof over their heads, but also a source of income. This could be a business on their own territory, an investment in real estate, or the creation of a family project. Everything related to the basics will bring profit. Dixon explained that Cancer's wealth comes not from risk, but from choosing the right moment. Her vision showed a wave rising and carrying those who do not fight it. She said, "Don't try to control it, just stay on course." And those who learn to let go will see how life itself carries them to the surface. She saw Cancers becoming stronger than ever. Their faces are calm, their gazes confident. They no longer hide in the shadows. Jean said that in 2026 they would stop apologizing for their desires and begin to live to their full potential. And at that moment, the mainstream would open. She saw a symbol, a silver moon turning into a golden disk. It was a sign that the soft energy of Cancer was finally becoming the energy of material possession. Her words about this sign sounded like a blessing. Cancer is water that does not destroy, but nourishes. And when it flows freely, abundance grows around it. In 2026, they will feel this literally. Efforts that were previously lost will now bring results, and this result will not be short-lived but stable, with a tendency to grow. She said that Cancer will be one of the signs that will learn to accept money without fear. For many, this will be a new experience, not to serve, not to sacrifice, not to wait, but to accept with dignity, and this will be their most important spiritual and financial achievement of the year. Dixon saw that the end of 2026 would bring Cancers a deep realization. Everything they had gone through was necessary to learn to distinguish the real from the fake. And now they have in their hands not just financial resources, but experience that no one else can take away. Her vision ended with an image of calm water reflecting the light of dawn. She said, "Cancer is no longer afraid of silence, because it knows that this is where its strength is born. And when strength becomes calm, stable, fair wealth comes. And 2026 will prove this beyond a doubt." Leo. Leo appears before our eyes. Calm, majestic, but inside him burns something that has been waiting for years to break out. His time comes in 2026, the year when all the restrictions that held back his natural power disappear, and instead of the former barriers, open gates. Where others are just beginning to doubt, Leo already sees the way forward. His confidence will no longer be perceived as pride, but as the call of a leader ready to head his own empire. This year is designed to lift up those who are not afraid to take responsibility for success, and Leo will be the first among them. 2026 will not be easy, but that is precisely why it will be great. Events will unfold quickly, as if life is testing whether Leo has the strength to withstand the pressure, and he will withstand it. Every crisis that could break others will open doors for him. Where others see the end, Leo sees an opportunity for rebirth. His leadership instinct will be the key to financial breakthroughs. He will not wait for someone to recognize him. He will create his own place of power, his own center of gravity, and people will gravitate toward him. The winds of change will blow strongly, but for this sign, they will become an ally. In 2026, Leo will not only have the opportunity to get rich, he will begin to build a foundation for generations. His actions, decisions, and ideas will have a lasting effect. The money that comes will not be accidental. It will be a reward for determination. Everything they create this year has the chance to become a legacy, a business, a brand, a team, a name. Their strength lies in their confidence, But the main victory this year will not be external, but internal. 2026 will teach Leo not only to lead, but also to trust. Trust will open the door to cooperation, and cooperation will open the door to big money. He will meet people who share his vision, investors, partners, and allies who will not compete but will strengthen him. This is the year when he will be able to gather a dream team around him. Financial flows will begin to move at the beginning of the year. New offers will appear, unexpected contacts will arise, and projects that seemed closed will come back to life. The main thing is not to hesitate. If Leo feels an inner yes, it is a signal to act. His intuition this year is almost infallible. It will become a navigator that will lead him to his greatest achievements. The period from May to August will be especially powerful. At this time, a second wave of financial opportunities will open up. For some, it will be a deal that will multiply their capital. For others, it will be the creation of a product that will capture the market. For others, it will be an entry into a new profession that will open the way to influence. But regardless of the field, there is one common feature. Everything that is done boldly will bring profit. In 2026, Leo must stop playing the role of an executor. His calling is to be a creator. This year will open the door to his own business, managing people, and branding his own name. Everything related to leadership, media, art, business, organization, or mentoring will flourish. They will stop working for someone else. Now others will work alongside them. Their presence will become a resource. Money for Leos in 2026 will not appear unexpectedly. It will grow out of their reputation. Therefore, every word, every step, every decision will carry weight. It is important not to waste energy on petty arguments or people who do not share the same vision. Leo will feel that time is no longer infinite, and it should only be spent on things that make sense. Then everything he touches will turn to gold. This year will teach Leo the power of silence. His influence will no longer require shouting. His success will be obvious without explanation. People will begin to trust him even before he says anything. This is a new level of power that comes not from status, but from energy. Those who feel this flow will want to be around him. His confidence will become a magnet for finances and opportunities. There is a warning. In the middle of the year, Leo may face a test that will test his patience. It may seem that something has stopped, but this is not stagnation. It is a moment of alignment. He must refrain from impulsive decisions. Everything that looks like a delay is actually preparing the ground for explosive growth. At the end of this period, he will receive a result that will compensate for all expectations. Leo's financial structure will change in 2026. If money used to come through action, now it will come through influence. His ideas will start to work for themselves. This is the moment when he will learn to delegate, scale, and create a system. Every project he starts this year will be able to generate profit even without his direct involvement. This is a real transition from labor to management. This year's success is not accidental. It will be the result of previous lessons. Leo will understand why his previous attempts did not bring the desired result, not because of failure, but because he was not in his field. 2026 will bring him back to where he belongs. He will remember that management is his nature. And when he starts acting again, the world will open its doors. His relationship with money will also change. Now he will not be afraid of large sums, will not doubt his ability to manage capital. This is the year when numbers cease to be frightening. They begin to obey. He will learn to manage resources without becoming attached to them. That is when money will begin to come in steadily. 2026 will open up the opportunity for him to earn money from what previously seemed like just a passion. Hobbies, creativity, publicity, mentoring, all of this can become a profitable business. Leo, who allows himself to be visible, will see how the world reacts. People are willing to pay for his energy, charisma, and experience. He just needs to accept this without hesitation. The middle of the year will be a moment of triumph. They will receive an offer or invitation that will open up a new scale. It could be an international project, a media platform, a partnership, or an investment. They will need to act quickly because the window of opportunity will be short. But their intuition will tell them that this is exactly what they have been waiting for. This step will change the financial dynamics for years to come. In the second half of the year, people will appear around Leo who want to join him on his path. It is important to choose allies with your mind, not your emotions. Among them will be those who will help scale the business and those who will only drain energy. Leo must learn to distinguish between who is who. His environment is his mirror. And if only those who are going in the same direction remain nearby, the money will not stop flowing. In the fall, another stream will open up, the result of actions taken in the first half of the year. Everything he has invested, time, energy, resources, will begin to pay dividends. This could be a promotion, a bonus, an increase in asset value, or product success. His name will begin to be mentioned as a symbol of stability, and even those who did not believe will admit, he did it. In 2026, his authority will take on a new form, not through loud statements, but through results. Leo no longer competes, he demonstrates. And this is the highest form of power. His financial situation will become stable, but at the same time, inner peace will come. Because wealth without fuss is exactly what he was looking for. At the end of the year, he will look back and realize that every challenge, every delay, every defeat was a step towards this moment. Now he stands at the top, and beneath his feet is not shaky ground, but a foundation he himself has created. And this foundation can withstand anything. His path in 2026 will become a guide for others. Many will look to him for inspiration. But this is not pressure, it is recognition. Because he did not just achieve, he learned to give while remaining strong. His success is not about chance, but about vocation. And when the world understands this, he will receive the ultimate reward, not only financial, but also human. Everything created by this sign in 2026 will bear the mark of eternity. He will leave behind something more than money, a system, a name, influence. And even if he does not seek fame, it will come to him. Because when inner strength is combined with action, the world cannot help but notice it. In 2026, Leo will prove that justice exists. Everything he has ever done with an open heart will return tenfold, not by accident, not as a gift, but as a restoration of balance. He will no longer wait for miracles, because he himself will become one. And the world will remember his name not as a winner, but as a creator who proved that greatness is not loud words but quiet confidence in one's own destiny. Virgo. Before your inner eye stands a figure who stands amid chaos but does not get lost. She sees details, analyzes, and builds order where others see only noise. This is Virgo. Her strength has always been in precision, observation, and the ability to see logic where others seek miracles. In 2026, this trait will make her one of the wealthiest of all the signs. Because when others panic, she will see patterns, calculate, make the right decisions, and find herself at the top. The world is preparing a year of profound practical changes for Virgo. Money will no longer come from chaos. It will come from the system, and she will be the architect of this system. Everything that previously seemed like trifles, like invisible work, will begin to bear fruit. What once seemed too slow will become stable in 2026. Virgo, who has been gathering experience, information, and skills for years, will now begin to reap the rewards. And these rewards will not be a momentary flash in the pan, but a foundation for years to come. The year will begin turbulently. Events will push her to go beyond the familiar. Someone close to her will lose their balance. Someone will succumb to their emotions, but she will keep a cool head. It is this calmness that will become her golden vein. When the world is in turmoil, Virgo will be able to see where a new order is emerging and will be the first to take her place in it. For this sign, 2026 will be a year of strategic decisions. Some of them will seem minor, but they are the ones that will bring wealth. She will intuitively feel what to invest in, where to stop, and whom to entrust with part of the business. Her natural caution will become her best defense, and her analytical mind will become a magnet for resources. Everything she thinks through to the smallest detail will yield accurate and stable results. Many representatives of this sign will see their work finally begin to be truly appreciated in 2026. People who once took advantage of their precision and modesty will now come to them with offers, finances, and contracts. Virgos will no longer be invisible performers. Their knowledge will become a resource that people are willing to pay for. And the more confidently they assert their value, the faster their income will grow. The period from March to September will be particularly powerful. This is a time when everything that has structure will begin to grow. Those who have a business will see it strengthen. Those who have a job will receive a promotion or greater responsibility, and those who have an idea will receive funding. Virgo will see that the universe is finally taking her seriously. No more coincidences, only regularity. The money that comes will not destroy her balance. She will not spend it on show. She will turn it into an even greater resource. This is what sets her apart from others. 2026 will teach Virgo to manage finances with the wisdom of a banker and the precision of an engineer. She will begin to divide assets, create reserves, and analyze where to direct the flow. And this control will make her virtually unshakable in the future. Virgo's success in 2026 will be quiet but impressive. No fuss, no demonstrations, just concrete results. While others try to convince the world of their greatness, she will simply show the numbers, and those numbers will speak for themselves. Her stability will be the subject of envy. But this calm will not fall from the sky. It will be the result of diligence, which she did not betray even when no one noticed her efforts. In the financial sphere, two main directions will emerge this year. The first is a stable income from a constant source, and the second is a new but fast income from a side project or investment. The combination of these two energies will create the perfect balance. If she allows herself to take a little risk, not reckless but calculated, this risk will bring several times more than caution. Virgo will learn not only to calculate, but also to trust her sense of the moment. Because in 2026, intuitive logic will be the key. She will feel when to press the pedal and when to pause. This harmony between analysis and intuition will make her unbeatable in the financial field. Her work will become visible. People will start asking her for advice, invitations, and cooperation. Her competence will become currency. And even if at first it seems like just an extra burden, it will eventually turn into a source of new income. She will receive an offer that exceeds her expectations, but she will only be able to accept it when she stops doubting her readiness. For Virgo, 2026 is the moment when she will finally allow herself to think big. Previously, her caution often held her back, but now it's time to use this trait differently. She will learn to scale everything that works. If her business is profitable, it will grow. If her job is stable, she will get a promotion. If a project generates income, it will attract investors. This is the year when quantity turns into quality. Her main task is to stop doubting her right to wealth, because this sign often gives more than it takes. 2026 will break this pattern. Everything she has invested, time, knowledge, heart, will return in the form of money, respect, and stability. And if before she received only gratitude, now she will receive the material equivalent of that gratitude. In the middle of the year, she may be tempted to change everything drastically. She will feel that the old patterns are weighing her down and will want a change. She should allow herself this transition, but do so with cold calculation. If she chooses the right moment, she will open up a new source of income that will exceed the previous ones. This is not a risk, it is a strategy update. Autumn will bring long-awaited stability. Income will become steady. Growth will be predictable. She will gain the confidence that has been lacking in recent years. This is the time to reap the harvest, not emotional, but real. Everything she has done systematically will bring results. And even if it seems that success has come late, in fact, it came exactly when it was needed. Virgo's financial independence in 2026 will not be a coincidence, but a state of mind. She will no longer feel fear of scarcity. Confidence will appear in her consciousness. Resources are always there. You just need to find the right formula for their movement, and she will find it. Her strength this year lies in calm concentration. She will not fight circumstances, she will manage them. And this calmness, backed by intelligence, will attract people who want stability. She will begin to be invited to large projects, boards of directors, and professional associations. Her opinion will become valuable not only to colleagues, but also to those who manage large funds. The end of the year will bring the realization that she has reached a completely different level. Money is no longer the goal, it is a tool. She will use it to create, invest, and help those who deserve it. This is a transition from personal success to influence. Her stability will become an example for others. 2026 will make Virgo a symbol of professionalism, foresight, and accuracy. All those who once underestimated her silence will understand. She was never silent, she was building. And now this calmness has turned into strength, and strength into prosperity. Her path will prove that true wealth is born not in haste, but in stability, which can only be created by those who are not afraid to do everything right, even when no one is watching. Libra. There are signs that fate allows to balance between extremes without falling. And it is Libra who will turn this ability into the art of enrichment in 2026. Jean Dixon's visions showed this sign at a time when the whole world is shaking and they stand steady. She said that no one feels harmony as subtly as Libra, and when the world sways, they turn the fluctuations into a rhythm that brings stability, power, and money. Her prophecies were clear. 2026 will give Libra the opportunity to restore the balance they lost in previous years, and this balance would become the foundation for financial growth. Jean saw representatives of this sign breaking old contracts, changing partners, and leaving empty agreements to create new ones, fair, profitable, and mutually beneficial. Her words were firm. When Libras no longer settle for less, they get everything. What didn't work in the past will suddenly work in 2026. Situations that seemed frozen will begin to move. Libras will see that their caution and ability to listen to different sides become their most valuable asset. When everyone around them is acting in haste, they will make accurate decisions. And that is the main reason why in 2026, money, influence, and opportunities will come to them. Jean Dixon once said, "This sign has a talent for seeing both sides, and that is why it always finds the golden mean." Her vision of 2026 showed Libras who know how to negotiate, even with fate. Their negotiations, agreements, communications, and even casual conversations will begin to pay dividends. She saw them at large tables, in offices, in negotiations, in situations where they had to remain calm, but at the same time stand their ground. Their words sounded confident, and it was thanks to this that doors that had been closed for years were opened. 2026 will be a year of restoring inner dignity for this sign. They will no longer agree to work for free, nor will they allow others to devalue their work. If Libras used to avoid conflict, now they will learn to call a spade a spade. And every time they choose honesty over compromise, the universe will reward them 100-fold. Jean Dixon saw this as the year of the return of justice. She emphasized that in 2026, Libras will have a unique ability to transform chaos into harmony. Everything they organize will stabilize, and any project under their leadership will turn a profit. And not because they are simply lucky, but because their logic will become an instrument of financial magic. According to Dixon, the main task for Libras will be to learn not to hesitate when making choices. She said, "When they hesitate, the universe waits. When they decide, everything moves forward." 2026 will be full of moments when you have to say yes or no quickly, without hesitation. And every decision you make will have an effect that exceeds your expectations. The spring period will be especially strong. This is a time when their charm, diplomacy, and ability to inspire others will open new paths to prosperity. For some, it will be a career leap. For others, a partnership that will open up a financial flow. Everything that has the characteristics of balance and beauty, design, art, finance, law, communications, will flourish. Dixon described a vision in which Libras stand before a large scale. On one side is the fear of taking risks. On the other is the opportunity to become independent. And when they tip the scale in favor of the latter, the space around them explodes with light. This is a symbol of the awakening of a determination that was previously lacking. She said that this moment in the life of every representative of this sign will become the starting point of a new financial cycle, 9 years long, stable, and promising. Her words sounded almost mathematical. 2026 is the year when precision becomes profit. Libras who learn to count, plan, and assess risks will achieve results that others will call miraculous. But it is not a miracle. It is the result of the logic they have always had, but simply did not use to its fullest. She also saw that Libras would stop putting off their own ideas. Previously, they often worked for someone else, helping others achieve success. Now it's time for them to use this talent for themselves. 2026 will be the year when they can launch their own initiatives, products, and brands. Jean said that this sign was born for cooperation, but true prosperity comes when it cooperates not for the benefit of others, but on equal terms. In the middle of the year, there may be a period of excessive activity. It seems that everything is moving, but energy is scattered. Discipline is needed here. Dixon emphasized that it is important not to lose focus in July and August. The main thing is not to try to please everyone, but to make choices in favor of stability. When Libras focus on one thing, this direction brings unexpectedly great results. Autumn will be a time of financial balance. At this time, either large sums of money will come in, or deals will be made that will solve long-standing problems. Libras will feel that they can finally breathe a sigh of relief. And then, when they allow themselves to relax, a real miracle will begin. Money will continue to come in even without extra effort. This is the moment when the system starts working for them. Dixon explained that this sign knows how to create beauty, and beauty is a form of energy that attracts resources. Everything that Libras do beautifully, aesthetically, and harmoniously will bring profit. Even the little things, presentations, speech, design, style, and communication. They will become a brand that sells itself. At the end of the year, someone may appear in their life who will offer to join forces. This meeting will not be accidental. It will open up opportunities for scaling up, both financially and professionally. Jean saw such alliances as a sign of doubling energy. She said that in 2026, one partner could replace dozens of opportunities. But the choice must be made with both the heart and the mind. Her vision of the future for Libras has always been about balance. She said that this sign is the only one that can both earn and inspire. Their finances will grow not through struggle, but through harmony. Where others clash, they negotiate. Where others lose, they find. And that is why 2026 will be the year when this sign rises above the crowd. In December, Libras will feel deep satisfaction, not only material, but also moral. Everything they fought for quietly, without fanfare, will bear fruit. They will understand that they did not need to shout to win. Their calmness and consistency proved to be their strongest weapon, and even those who once doubted their abilities now recognize that their harmony is stronger than any aggression. Jean Dixon left behind words that seem to have been created to describe this moment. He who keeps his balance controls the storm. And in 2026, it will be Libras who are not afraid of storms, because they know that they are created to make the world a cleaner place. Everything that loses its meaning will disappear, and what remains will be strong, fair, and profitable. Their path this year is an example of maturity. They no longer seek approval or prove their rightness. They simply do the right thing, and therefore win. And the world will finally learn the main thing from them. Harmony is not a compromise, it is a point of strength where true wealth is born. Scorpio. The world is preparing to see a sign rise from the darkness, unafraid of the depths. In 2026, Scorpio will stop hiding its fire underwater. It will no longer be an observer. Its power will break through, and it will be one of the most powerful upheavals of the year. What others call a crisis will be a moment of birth for him. What is the end for others is the beginning for him. No one will be able to stop this transformation because it begins not externally, but internally. In the old writings of Jean Dixon, there is a phrase often quoted by her followers. There are signs that fate teaches through shadow so that they shine brighter. She was referring specifically to Scorpio. Her visions showed him in two states. In darkness, where he is reborn, and in light, where he rules. And 2026 is the moment when these two forces merge. It is the year when Scorpio will begin to control not only himself, but everything that belongs to him by right of struggle, pain, endurance, and faith. His path will not be easy. At the beginning of the year, the world will seem unstable. What he relied on may disappear. The people he counted on will drift away. But at that very moment, he will feel that his support was never outside. It was inside. And then the movement will begin. Scorpio will start to pull himself together again, but this time not as a fighter, but as a strategist. Their actions will become precise, their words accurate, their intuition sharp as a blade. Dixon wrote that this sign is not afraid of darkness because it knows how to control it. She saw Scorpio standing on the ruins of the old world, and instead of fear in their eyes, calmness. Because he understands that if something has been destroyed, it means it no longer had any value. And where others see emptiness, he will see opportunity. It is this ability to see opportunity in destruction that will make him one of the wealthiest people in 2026. When others are looking for guarantees, Scorpio will create them himself. His financial breakthrough will begin at the moment of risk. One bold decision, and everything will change. It could be a new business, a deal, an investment, even an ordinary conversation that turns into the deal of the year. But it is important to act intuitively without waiting for confirmation from others. Their strength in 2026 will lie in their inner drive, in the decisions they make in a second, but which change their lives. Dixon has repeatedly noted that Scorpios attract power. But the real wealth that will come to them in 2026 will not be just material. It will bring influence. She saw representatives of this sign sitting not at other people's tables, but at their own. They no longer agree to be tools. Now they create mechanisms that others use. And the world reacts to this energy subconsciously. People who feel their determination will begin to offer cooperation themselves. Her vision described the moment when Scorpio, who had always worked in the shadows, comes into the light. It is not a loud speech or a showy scene. It is the calm, confident gait of a person who knows that everything they have lost will return, and it will return multiplied. The year 2026 will change Scorpio's relationship with money. Whereas before they controlled their finances through fear, now they will begin to manage them through awareness. Dixon explained that this sign often lives between extremes, either accumulating or spending without limits. But this year will bring maturity. They will learn to keep the flow going without keeping it in a cage. And that's when the money will stop disappearing. It will start to multiply naturally. In 2026, Scorpio will be where the fate of great things is decided. Their energy will drive events, even if they don't want it to. People will feel his influence even when he is silent. This is the year when his shadow power becomes visible, and his visible power becomes even deeper. Dixon often called this sign the energy engine of the universe. She believed that Scorpio alone was capable of moving huge masses of events by the power of will, and 2026 will confirm this. All doors that once seemed locked will open not with a key, but with presence. His presence will be reason enough for decisions that change financial realities. In the middle of the year, Scorpio will face a situation that will require deep honesty. He will have to choose between old ties and a new path. And only those who cut off the past will gain true freedom. Jean Dixon said, "They cannot build a new world while holding on to old chains." Therefore, in 2026, any liberation, even painful, will actually be a blessing. Her prophecies for this sign always had a special tone, not about lightness, but about strength. She said that when Scorpio stops fearing pain, he becomes invincible. And that is exactly what will happen. They will begin to use emotions as fuel. Where others fall, they will soar. And this rise is not just a metaphor, it is concrete results. New sources of income, deals, partnerships, investments, growth in influence, everything will come together in a single line that leads upward. By autumn, he will no longer seek confirmation of his strength. He will feel it. And then he will start to act on a larger scale. His decisions will become riskier but more accurate. His movements will be confident. And even those who once feared his ambitions will begin to recognize that he is the one who sees ahead. This is the year when Scorpio's intuition will become prophetic. Dixon wrote that this sign often sees the future through emotions. When he feels something deeply, it is not just an experience, it is a prediction. Therefore, 2026 should be lived by trusting not only the mind, but also the heart. When Scorpio acts from within, he is never wrong. Their financial results will impress even themselves. They will begin to attract resources like a magnet. Everything that was once blocked, inheritance, agreements, debts, old cases, will begin to unblock. Unexpected money, the return of what was lost, help from unexpected sources. All this is part of a great process of renewal. Dixon warned that the power of Scorpio is dangerous for those who are not aware of it. Because if he directs his energy toward destruction, he will destroy himself. But if he directs it toward creation, he will build an empire. And 2026 will be the test. Will he be able to use his energy wisely? The scale of his wealth will depend on this. In December, this sign will be on a different level. People who did not understand it will look up to it. Its name will become associated with power, strategy, and influence, but most importantly, with silence. Because it will learn not to talk about its victories, but simply to live in them. Its success will not require an audience. It will become part of his aura. In its old prophecies, there is one line that seems to have been written for this year. When Scorpio finds a balance between passion and calm, even the heavens bow down before him. And this is an accurate description of what will happen. His passion for action will be combined with the wisdom of restraint, and this balance will create boundless power. 2026 will make Scorpio not only rich, but also free. He will cease to depend on other people's opinions, fears, and expectations. They will become the owner of their life in every sense, materially, spiritually, and emotionally. Their path this year is not just success. It is proof that strength does not need approval, and those who see their victory will understand. It did not fall from the sky, it was earned with every drop of endurance. Scorpio in 2026 is the energy of rebirth. He turns pain into capital, the past into a lesson, darkness into strength. And while others are just trying to survive, he is already in control of the process. Because where for most people it is the end, for him it is the beginning of a new world that rightfully belongs to him. Sagittarius. Fire moves where there is space, and in 2026, Sagittarius will get that space. He is already cramped in his old framework, and the universe is preparing for the moment when the boundaries will simply dissolve. Where he used to have to explain, he will now act. Where he used to fight for a chance, he will now get a choice. This is the year when his inner fire will become visible even to those who previously saw nothing but sparks. The old records of Jean Dixon contain a short but accurate phrase. There are souls who do not need a map. They create their own direction. She wrote this about those born under the sign of Sagittarius. Her vision showed this traveler among people who stand still. He walks even when it is dark, and that is why he is the first to see the dawn. 2026 is his dawn. Everything that has been prepared, that has been accumulating in him for years, will explode with results. And this explosion is not destructive. It creates a new reality. The year will begin with the feeling that time is finally on his side. Opportunities will arise that previously seemed distant or unrealistic. Someone will receive an invitation to a new country. Someone will receive a dream job offer. And someone will receive funding for an idea that has long been put on hold. For Sagittarius, the main thing is not to doubt. If your gut tells you this is yours, act immediately. Their initiative in 2026 will turn to gold. Dixon once said that this sign has the ability to see beyond the horizon, and it is this ability that will become their main financial tool. While others are afraid to take a step, Sagittarius already sees where that step will lead. Their self-belief will become the engine that drives not only them, but also those around them. This is a year when they don't just earn money. They inspire others to earn money. Their confidence will become the energy that opens doors. In the first months of the year, there will be a temptation to leave everything as it is. But fate will not allow them to stand still. Events will push them to act, even if they are not ready. It may seem that something is ending, but each ending will open 3 new paths. Sagittarius should not fight this flow. They must become part of it. Her vision of this sign was always accompanied by movement. A horse, wind, a path, a road. She said that Sagittarius cannot be confined. Its strength lies in space. In 2026, It will receive this space in the literal sense. New contacts, geography, spheres, partnerships. Its financial horizons will expand. Where he previously worked locally, an international level will open up. Where he was part of a team, he will become a leader. Where he only dreamed, he will begin to act. Dixon believed that this sign has a sacred gift of luck, but only for those who are moving. She warned, when Sagittarius stands still, luck sleeps. When they act, it awakens. Therefore, 2026 will not forgive inaction. This is the time when their ideas, even the most daring ones, must take shape. And those who manage to act in the first half of the year will enter the second half with profits that exceed all expectations. In May or June, a key event will take place. A deal, a meeting, a trip, or a decision that will change his financial trajectory. It will seem risky, but it is in risk that the breakthrough lies. Jean Dixon noted that this sign will only be rewarded when it plays to its full potential. And in 2026, the universe will respond to their courage. The fields of communications, teaching, travel, online business, advertising, and education, anything involving movement and knowledge, will bring great profits. Sagittarians who have long dreamed of turning their ideas into reality will see their first attempts yield real results. Those who have taught others will begin to earn money from mentoring. Those who have created content will gain an audience. Those who have shared their knowledge will receive investments. In the summer, there will be a sense of victory. But it is important not to stop. Dixon wrote that it is precisely in moments of triumph that Sagittarius must stay the course. Their greatest strength is consistency after success. If they continue without getting distracted by trifles, the second half of the year will be an explosion of growth. Financially, this year will show that money can come easily. Not through struggle, but through movement. Sagittarius will feel that when they act with inspiration, the world responds. His ideas are picked up by others, and every project he starts becomes a wave that brings profit. He will learn to earn not through compromise, but through freedom. And this freedom is his currency. Dixon described a vision in which Sagittarius stands on a mountain and shoots an arrow into the sky. The arrow disappears, but in a moment it returns to him in gold. This is a symbol of cause and effect. Everything he gives to the world comes back with a profit. Therefore, 2026 will be a time when openness and generosity will cease to be character traits. They will become a business model. A new level will open up in the fall. People will start seeking his advice and inviting him to join joint projects. He will become the face of success. But with this will come responsibility. He will have to choose between remaining a free agent or creating a structure that works systematically. Both paths are correct, but the second will lead to stability. And if he manages to combine his fire with discipline, he will receive not just money, but power over the direction of his own life. Dixon called this sign a bearer of faith. She said that when Sagittarius believes in himself, the world begins to help him, even through random people. Indeed, in 2026, help will come from where he least expects it. Someone will support him with words, someone with actions, someone with money. But all this will be a chain of events woven together by invisible logic. In November, an opportunity may arise that seems too good to be true. It is worth taking it. This is the culmination of the year, the moment when Sagittarius will realize that the entire journey to this point has been preparation. They will see the result of all their previous risks, and this result will be spectacular. In December, they will feel the harmony between freedom and stability. Financially, this is the moment when money no longer runs away, but comes on its own. Psychologically, it is when there is no fear of loss. Energetically, it is when every step resonates in sync with events. This is the state of a person who lives in the flow. Dixon left a note with the words, "Luck is not a gift. It is the meeting point of action and faith." And Sagittarius will find this point. His faith will not be blind. It will become conscious. He will no longer need proof. Every day in 2026 will be confirmation for him that he has chosen the right direction. His energy this year will not burn out. It will create. And everything he builds will have a long life. Success will not end with the calendar. It will carry over into the following years. Because this year is not just about money, it is about gaining confidence, about the inner peace of someone who has finally understood that his freedom is not an escape, but a form of strength. For Sagittarius, 2026 will be the moment when the world recognizes that their optimism was not naivety, but a prophetic ability to see light where others see only darkness. And now that light will turn into material reality, in the form of wealth, influence, open doors, and a horizon that no longer has boundaries. Capricorn, the dawn rises slowly over the mountains, and there, on the very ridge, stands Capricorn. He is not afraid of heights, not bothered by the wind, not stopped by the cold. The year 2026 will be the moment when the entire path he has been walking for years will finally make sense. No one has gone through so many trials, no one has invested so much in their own growth, and when others are just beginning to climb, he will already be standing at the top. What once seemed like a struggle will now turn out to be preparation for triumph. For many years, Capricorn built, remained silent, and waited. His success has grown slowly, but it has never been accidental. 2026 will open the door behind which his reward has been kept. It will be a year of solid form, concrete results, signed contracts, completed projects, stable sums, new resources. It is time for him to step out of the shadows. Not because the world has allowed it, but because he is ready. In the old manuscripts of Jean Dixon, there is a passage that seems to have been written for this sign. Those who climb upward see the path only step by step, but when they reach the top, they see everything. She predicted that Capricorns would see the whole picture in 2026. What they have been doing in fragments will form a mosaic. And this mosaic will turn out to be a plan for a large system that they themselves have created. Its strength lies in its structure. It does not throw words around or act hastily. And so this year will bring not random profits, but systematic growth. Businesses, careers, and long-term projects that seem to be frozen will begin to move forward. Its time-tested ideas will now begin to bear fruit. Jean Dixon wrote that when Capricorn stops fighting doubt, the universe gives it the wheel. And that is exactly what will happen in 2026. The beginning of the year may seem stressful. Tests, decisions, responsibility. But these challenges will not punish, they will test. Capricorn will emerge stronger and richer. People around him will see that he is no longer playing a role. He is in control of the process. Their authority will become obvious. And even those who did not understand their silence will begin to listen to their every word. Dixon believed that this sign possesses the power of reality. Where others dream, they act. Where others invent, they calculate. 2026 will make them a materializer. Their ideas will take shape. If he planned something, he will see it in numbers. If he dreamed of his own business, he will launch it. If he was putting together a team, he will get loyal allies. Everything will become real, concrete, stable. The first half of the year will bring an important turning point. Capricorn will have a choice: to stay in the old stability or to rise higher, risking comfort. And only those who take a step up will achieve a real breakthrough. Jean Dixon noted that fate does not reward caution without action. Therefore, 2026 will be a test of courage, not emotional but rational and measured. Their financial system will change. Capricorn will stop working for money. Money will start working for him. This is not a metaphor. He will find ways to generate income without exhaustion, perhaps through investments, passive sources, or smart business expansion. Dixon predicted that this sign would be the first to learn how to turn stability into automatic profit. Spring will open a period of new connections. The people he meets between April and June will become his strategic partners. These are not random acquaintances. These are people who will bring benefits and opportunities. He must listen carefully and look at the details. Every offer, even a small one, could be the beginning of a big project. In July or August, a key breakthrough awaits him. It could be the signing of an agreement, a promotion, a profitable purchase, or an unexpected market discovery. This moment must be met without fear. Dixon wrote that Capricorns often delay success because they test themselves. In 2026, there will be no need to test anymore. It's time to act. Their intuition will become practical. They will begin to feel when the moment has come to take a step. They will not have to guess. They will simply know. And this inner peace will become the best compass. Capricorns will not rush in 2026. They will walk steadily, and each step will be accurate. This is the movement of a person who has finally understood that haste is a trap for those who have no plan. Autumn will bring stability. Money will start coming in steadily, without sharp fluctuations. He will feel that he can plan ahead. This is a new sense of security, not because of external guarantees, but because of his own strength. People will start turning to him for advice, seeking his experience. His name will become synonymous with reliability. During this period, large purchases are possible: land, property, valuable assets. Capricorn will feel that the time has come to consolidate the result. Dixon often repeated that this sign was created to leave a mark on the material world, and 2026 will be just such a moment. Each of his investments will have a long-term effect. In the fall, new challenges will arise, not external, but internal. There may be a desire to slow down, relax, hide from responsibility, but rest will come only after the completion of a great work. And if he sees it through to the end, the result will exceed expectations. It's not just profit, it's a transformation of status. Now he is not an employee of the system, but a person who shapes it. Dixon often spoke of Capricorn as the architect of time in her visions. In 2026, he will indeed begin to manage not hours, but cycles. His projects will last for years, and his decisions will have consequences for entire teams and industries. This is the year when he will realize that his every word carries weight. In financial terms, the second half of the year will be a period of accumulation of strength. He should not spend his surplus. It should be directed toward building a foundation. Now, any investment made consciously will pay off many times over. His caution will become a tool for growth. At the end of the year, there will be a moment of calm. This is not a stop. It is a plateau before a new peak. Capricorn will look back and see that every loss had meaning. Every year he worked without recognition was preparation for this rise. Now he is not looking for approval. He is his own criterion. And that is true freedom. In her notes, Jean Dixon preserved one short phrase that she uttered when describing this sign. His reward is stability that needs no witnesses. This is exactly what the energy of 2026 will be like. Capricorn will not flaunt its wealth. Its success will be felt as the presence of power. Quiet, confident, inevitable. In December, it will realize that it stands on a solid foundation that has never existed before. This is the beginning of a new stage, a period where they no longer seek, but create. Money, power, recognition, all this will become not a goal, but a consequence. And in this calm, a new mission will appear, to convey to others what they have understood. For Capricorn, 2026 is a year of complete materialization of power. What was once a dream will become numbers and reports. What seemed unattainable will become commonplace. His patience, discipline, self-control, and belief in his own path will turn into a system that brings profit even when he is silent. And when this year ends, the world will see a person who no longer has to prove his worth. He simply is. And his presence is proof that true power is not in shouting, but in the ability to stand when others fall. Capricorn will become the symbol of 2026, quiet, sensible, but unbreakable ruler of reality, as predicted by Jean Dixon, a person for whom success is no longer a dream, but a way of life. Aquarius. The world is accustomed to linearity, but Aquarius has never lived by straight lines. Its path always curves into unpredictable shapes, which is why 2026 will be a breakthrough year for it. It will not be a year of stability. It will be a year of discoveries, intellectual explosions, money-making ideas, and solutions that are ahead of their time. While others are looking for rules, they will be creating new ones. And that is what will make them one of the most successful signs of the year. Jean Dixon repeatedly said in her writings, "Aquarius is a sign that sees the future not with its eyes, but with its mind." She described it as the bearer of the code of change. In her visions, this sign stood at the source of light, where the past and the future converged. She claimed that when the world enters a new era, Aquarians are the first to receive the keys. 2026 is just such a moment. Its energy will be electric. Ideas that seemed too bold in 2025 will now become reality. All those who had the courage to think outside the box will have the chance to realize their projects. This is the year when the mind becomes currency. And Aquarius, as the main bearer of intellectual power, will receive privileges that others can only dream of. The beginning of the year will be restless. Not because something is wrong, but because Aquarius's brain will work faster than events. It will seem to them that everything is moving slowly, but this is an illusion. Space simply cannot keep up with them. They must learn to trust time. If they feel a delay in January or February, it is a sign that the universe is preparing for something big. And when the pace picks up, events will cascade. Dixon believed that this sign has a unique connection with the energy of ideas. She wrote, "Aquarius does not earn with his hands, he earns with insight." 2026 will prove this literally. His ability to see unconventional solutions will lead to big money. This could be a new technology, communication strategy, invention, startup, social project, online platform, anything that combines logic and imagination. In the first half of the year, several sudden encounters are possible. The people Aquarius meets in March or April will become his guides to new circles. These are not just acquaintances, but contacts that open financial doors. Their task is not to refuse spontaneous conversations and offers. Even ordinary cooperation can turn into the project of the year. Their intuition in 2026 will become practically technical. They will not feel, they will know. At moments when logic says wait, and inner impulse says act, he must act. Jean Dixon explained that Aquarians do not receive intuition in the usual sense. They receive signals from the future, and this year will make those signals loud. Financially, this sign will experience a multiplier effect. If in 2025 incomes were uneven, now they will stabilize and begin to grow, but not through savings, through scaling. Aquarius will realize that it is no longer necessary to do everything yourself. Their ideas can work through others, a team, a network, a system. This is what will become the tool for profit. Dixon described them as inventors of the future, and this description will become literal. Aquarians will begin to turn knowledge into products. Those involved in technology will see a breakthrough. Those who work with information will see growth. Those who teach, create content, and communicate will gain popularity and money. His name will become famous, his voice influential. A period of rapid change is possible in the summer. Someone in his circle will not be able to keep up. Partnerships or old ties may break. There is no need to be afraid of this. Jean Dixon once said, "Aquarius doesn't lose people. He frees up space." That's when new faces, new resources, and new opportunities will come. It's important for him not to cling to the past. July or August could be months of big deals or successful launches. What he starts at this time will blossom in the fall. Money will come quickly, but the main thing is not to lose balance. Dixon warned that Aquarius's power can become a storm if they do not control their own speed. They need to create a structure, not as a restriction, but as a support. Autumn will be calmer on the outside, but intense on the inside. It is a time of reaping the rewards. The results of his work will surprise even Aquarius himself. His income will grow even when he is not directly involved. This is the moment when his name, brand, and idea begin to live independently of him, and this is the main indicator of success. During this period, they will feel that it is time to delegate, to hand over some of their responsibilities, entrust management to others, and give others the opportunity to act under their supervision. This is not a loss of control, but an expansion. Their system will work autonomously, and they will be able to focus on strategy. Financial flows at this time will be strong but uneven. Profits will come in spurts. This is not a mistake. It is the natural rhythm of growth. Jean Dixon said that money follows the flow of ideas. So when an idea is born, the universe responds with a surge. Aquarius must accept these surges calmly, without panic and without emotional decisions. By November, they will realize that they have changed. Their thinking will expand. They will no longer view profit as just numbers. It will be the energy of realized potential. Each new idea will not just be a project, but a brick in their own system of influence. Dixon often mentioned in her speeches that this sign is not tied to time. She said, "When Aquarius creates, he works for a future that has not yet come." In 2026, this will become a reality. His decisions will now influence the events of the coming years. He will become a trendsetter. In December, there will be silence. This is not stagnation, but stabilization. When everything he has built begins to function effortlessly, money will be accepted naturally, partners will act without control, and the system will work like a mechanism. This is the moment when he will be able to rest for the first time in a long time. Not because of fatigue, but because of the realization that everything is under control. His presence will become a symbol of reliability. People will begin to turn to him as a source of inspiration. He will become a mentor, a guide, a voice of rationality amid the chaos. His vision of events will be ahead of reality, and even those who did not take him seriously before will admit that he was right. Dixon once said that Aquarius does not seek fame, he seeks truth, and when he finds it, fame comes on its own. This is exactly what will happen. His name will appear wherever there is talk of new approaches, discoveries, and changes, and all this will happen naturally, without demonstrations or struggles. His light will be quiet, but his power will be undeniable. 2026 will be the year when Aquarius finally receives the reward for all his years of inner work. His ideas will materialize, his thoughts will become law, his vision will become reality. And when the world begins to move in the direction he predicted, he will smile, not out of pride, but out of the understanding that the truth has always been there. Their path this year is that of a thinker who has learned to control matter, and everyone who sees their success will understand that intellect can also be wealth if used with courage. Pisces. There are signs that rule the world through force, and there are those that rule through logic. But there are others, those who rule the invisible. And among them, Pisces takes first place. The year 2026 will make this sign the embodiment of subtle but unwavering influence. Where others only talk about intuition, Pisces acts as if they can see the future. And it is this ability that will become for them not a metaphor, but a source of real wealth. In the old records of Jean Dixon, there is a short note in the margins. When intuition becomes action, a prophet is born, not a dreamer. She wrote this about Pisces. In her vision, this sign does not go with the flow. It chooses the depths that others fear. And in 2026, these depths will open up. Everything they felt, predicted, and anticipated will suddenly take shape. What was once only intuitive knowledge will become a material fact. The year will begin with the feeling that everything around them is changing too quickly. Pisces do not like chaos, but this time it will become their ally. When old systems collapse, their inner flexibility will allow them to find their way. Their brains will work not as analytical tools, but as antennas. They will begin to pick up signals that others cannot even hear. And every right step will seem random, but it will be perfectly accurate. Dixon called this sign the translator between worlds. She saw Pisces standing on the border between the material and the invisible, and it is there, in the space between logic and feeling, that their power is born. 2026 will activate this border. Everything related to energy, art, psychology, technology, financial systems, or healing will be profitable. Anything that requires empathy and foresight will be a source of growth. At the beginning of the year, there may be a temptation to save others again. But now is the time to save yourself. Jean Dixon once said, "When Pisces ceases to be a victim, they become a source." And that is exactly what will happen. In 2026, they will stop allowing the world to take advantage of their kindness without giving anything in return. Their help will become valuable, paid, and respected. Financially, it will be a year of great correction. Where there were debts before, there will be balance. Where there was instability, there will be flow. Where there was a lack of faith, there will be confidence. Pisces will start to earn money from what they have always considered their calling. Their ability to sense people will become a profession, and this profession will bring not just money, but independence. In March-April, an offer may appear that will change everything. At first, it will seem frivolous, but intuition will say, "This is it," and it will be right. If Pisces listen to their hearts rather than their fears, this step will open the door to a whole new level. They will not need to convince the world. It will confirm the correctness of their choice. Dixon described a vision in which Pisces hold water in their hands that turns into light. This is a symbol of how emotions become a resource. 2026 will teach them not to run away from their feelings, but to use them as a compass. When they trust themselves, no situation will be a threat. They will begin to feel that even mistakes lead in the right direction. In the first half of the year, a transition will occur. Pisces will realize that the old ways no longer work, and then a new scenario will be born. Not externally, but internally. It will not be a revolution. It will be a realization. They will no longer wait for signals. They will give them themselves, and the world will begin to respond. Financially, the year will be divided into 3 waves. The first is awakening, when new opportunities arise. The second is stabilization, when money begins to move steadily. The third is growth, when the flow becomes greater than necessary. And it is important not to be afraid of this excess. Pisces must learn to accept, because for them, accepting is harder than giving. But it is acceptance that will be the condition for true wealth. Dixon once confessed in her notes that Pisces is the only sign that can gain wealth through intuition. Everyone else works, takes risks, calculates, but they feel the moment, and 2026 will show how this ability works in practice. It may seem that everything happens by itself, but in fact, every step will be logical. It's just that the logic is hidden in the depths of the subconscious. In the middle of the year, sudden events are possible. Something that seemed stable may suddenly end. But these are not losses. They are a liberation from old limitations. Pisces will see that when they let go, the space is filled faster than they expected. Where yesterday there was emptiness, today there is a new opportunity. Their communication will become magnetic. The words of Pisces in 2026 will have a strange power. Not hypnotic, but profound. People will listen to them and act, and if they use this power wisely, it will open the way to new circles of influence. They will be able to persuade not by pressure, but by conviction. Dixon believed that every Pisces has a second level, one that awakens when they stop doubting. 2026 will awaken this level. It is the state of a person who no longer seeks answers. They already know them, and then everything around them will begin to fall into place. Money will come, people will catch up, opportunities will appear. It will be natural, almost effortless. Autumn will bring silence, but it will be the silence of strength. Pisces will stop rushing. They will understand that everything happens in its own time. And it is this inner stability that will become a magnet for material goods. People who previously perceived them as dreamers will now see realists who simply think more deeply. Their finances will stabilize, and their sources of income may be unusual. They will see profits from creativity, consulting, advice, spiritual or psychological practices, even random projects. When Pisces act with their hearts, any endeavor turns to gold. By December, they will realize that the world has begun to truly listen to them. Their ideas, which once seemed strange, will now be quoted. Their experience will become an authority. And even if they did not seek fame, it will come. But not as glamour, as recognition of wisdom. At this moment, Jean Dixon wrote about the quiet triumph of water. She believed that Pisces would never win in a fight, but would always win with the flow. And 2026 will be just that. The flow will be their ally. They will not swim against it, they will simply choose the right direction. And then even world events will unfold in their favor. Their strength this year lies in gentleness. They will not pressure, demand, or fight. They will simply become a center of calm in the chaos. And this calm will attract everything: resources, partners, ideas, love, opportunities. They no longer need to chase after fate. Fate will come to them. As the year draws to a close, Pisces will feel that they have achieved a state of inner wealth, and it is this that will become the source of external wealth. They will understand that money is only a reflection of self-confidence, and when that confidence stabilizes, the flow will never disappear. Their success in 2026 will not be loud. It will be profound. People will only see the surface, but beneath it, a whole system will unfold, calm, wise, effective. And this will be the highest form of victory. In her latest prophecies, Jean Dixon wrote, "Pisces is a soul that does not ask permission to shine." And this will be the essence of the year. They will no longer hide their power. They will no longer give away their energy without exchange. Their intuition will become a tool for controlling reality. Their faith will become financial stability. Their calmness will become a weapon. 2026 will make Pisces an example of how softness defeats hardness. They will not shout, compete, or impose, but when everything around them falls apart, they will remain afloat. And when others wonder how they did it, Pisces will just smile. Because where others sought logic, they saw the way long ago.